Ok, buenas tardes, bienvenidos a nuestro
Welcome to our final panel, who's going to talk about the use of additives to be able to extract nutritional value of the DDGS. For this, we have these three speakers that you can see on the screen.
vamos a
So again, we have three speakers. We're going to begin with Dr. Urriola. He has already been introduced, so I'm not going to introduce him again. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into the topic. Thank you, Dr. Urriola. Well, once again, thank you very much to the U.S. Grains Council for the opportunity to speak about this topic, improving the nutritional value of DDGS. I work for the University of Minnesota, and this paper or this research that I'm presenting today is collaborative research that includes many of my colleagues at the University of Minnesota, including Dr. Jerry Churson, with whom I have worked for many, many years. And a large part of what we would like to do is to see what we can do to produce more with less. And when we try to decide if we're going to produce more, how do we extract more nutritional value from any type of ingredient? Something that we always have to keep in mind is the type of system that we're using to evaluate the nutritional value of these raw materials, because this depends a lot, because the way we conduct experiment, the way we plan experiments depends on the way we interpret information. To the left I am presenting, or to the left, on the left of the slide, we can see that we can monitor the concentration of the different nutrients in the diet. But other systems divide energy into gross energy and metabolizable energy. Some use gross energy system. Some others use a metabolizable energy system. NIRs, there was a question about NIRs before. And yes, there are questions that use NIRs to monitor the composition of their ingredients in a routinary basis. And there are other companies that conduct adjustments with regards to the digestibility values of raw materials, and they do those based on the information that is collected periodically, or information, or we call them dynamic values that are collected periodically. For instance, the urea index in soy, or other values that indicate the quality of the nutrients in the ingredient. And I do know that in Europe we now have companies that are looking for or researching digestion kinetics. And the reason why I'm presenting this is because as we try to advance with regards to the digestibility of nutrients, as we advance in our understanding, it is important to understand the portion of the ingredient that is improving digestibility or nutritional values. We need to see if this is being done by proteins, carbohydrates, or lipids, because that has an effect in the way we interpret results. Also, we are beginning to see that there's a relationship between digestibility and nutrients. And here on the slide we have the different NDF, total apparent digestibility, in different DDGS sources. In the bottom we can see the concentration of neutral detergent fiber that is not digestible. This is frequently used, again, in digestible NDF. This is frequently used with dairy cattle. And here on the Y we have the ATTD that comes of fats, and there's a relationship as DDGS include their concentration of undigestible fiber, there is less digestibility of fat as well. So with this, what I would like to say is that on one side we mentioned earlier fat concentration and byproducts, subproducts with higher amounts of fat, and the question was if they had more nutritional values. But that depends, as we said before, on the digestibility of the fat. Some nutrients have a large concentration of fat, but lots of that fat is not digestible, and this is because fiber is not digestible, and that fiber prevents that fat from being digested. And why is DDG's fiber not digestible, or why is it more difficult to break that fiber compared to other ingredients? Part of the answer is that DDGS fibers have a crystalline formation. Some people speak or compare this to the pages of a book that piles cellulose molecules one on top of the other. So this makes it difficult for enzyme fibers for enzymes to break those structures. And yes, we do see DDGS fibers with high values of crystallinity and have lower values of digestibility of fiber, and vice versa. Others that have cellulose digestibility with a low value have more digestibility of fiber. So again, breaking the fiber of DDGS is an important thing for us to consider. And how can we break that fiber? Well, this is basically an ammonia fiber expansion. This is one of the procedures that we use. Again, this uses lots of energy at high temperature, at high pressure, with a high pH. And again, this is used by ammonia. So this system is able to break fibers. On the gray line, we can see that this DDGS that has been treated with ammonia fiber expansion has a crystallinity index of 0, and the digestible energy increases in proportion or proportionally in a significant fashion, in a significant way. So breaking this fiber allows us to obtain a higher value of energy. However, this ammonia fiber expansion process is an expensive process that it's not currently available, commonly available. So, but we also do have other enzymes that are available. This paper, this research was done by a postdoctorate student that worked with us at the University of Minnesota, Jejul Yang, and he conducted a meta-analysis or of enzymes that are being used or that have been used in swine. He took all the information from those different experiments, and he also looked for additional experiments in which swine were fed with enzymes and that indicated properly the amount of those enzymes in the diets. And yes, he also presents a summary of close to 30 observations in which he sees an increase with regards to the daily weight gains uh, on average. And again, on average is 2.65% is the mean difference on average. However, this measurement that we have on the right column indicates the variability of the response, and that 60% that we see on the last column indicates that there is a tremendous variation in the response. Some experiments indicate a tremendous improvement, a tremendous enhancement, while others don't. So on average we can see that the use of enzymes have a positive effect with regards to the daily weight gain in swine. Also a small reduction with regards to feed consumption. And in summary, again, this leads to a better, to an enhanced consumption, to an enhanced to a better effect. But we also see that the effect of some of those enzymes is so variable, and that variability can be explained as follows. Enzymes do not only break the carbohydrates of fiber in the diet and providing energy to the animal. In addition to that, those fiber portions are feeding bacteria in the gastrointestinal system of the swine. In this area, we also saw an improvement with regards to the weight gain when swine were fed with DDGS, and we also saw that the viscosity of those diets changed. In this case, we saw a reduction of viscosity at Jijuan. We also see cytokines that control the immune system. And I do not want to speak about all the cytokines that change, but in summary, cytokines are summarized as Th1 and Th2. And we also see that there is a difference with regards to the swine response in their immune system based on those cytokines. So, quite likely, part of the benefits that we're seeing from enzymes also comes from other gastrointestinal functions. Perhaps it's not only digestion and absorption of nutrients, but also the preparation of the immune system of swine.
The immune system, not only, but only from the bacteria and metabolites, possibly that the bacteria produce when they are metabolizing the fiber. In this case, we can see that the production of a metabolite that is in general is considered as a toxic for the cells of the gastrointestinal tract will be reduced when we have fermentable fiber. We can use enzymes, we can use this ammonia fiber expansion. Another research group from the Minnesota University have used a system of solid fermentation, of fungal fermentation. They have used these fungi, two types of fungi, and during the production of DDGS. So we have the moist grain and it's submitted to this humid or moist fermentation process. We have seen that there's a benefit in the concentration of amino acids, in the digestibility of amino acids, and a reduction of the concentration of fiber and mycotoxins, because some of these fungi, depending on the conditions where they are growing, can compete with the mycotoxins of other fungi and break those mycotoxins. So it seems that this system, fermentation system, helps us to reduce the mycotoxin concentration of anti-nutritional factors such as fiber and phytate. And furthermore, in the fungi growth, increases the concentration of amino acids, and these amino acids have high nutritional levels. But today, to do this application of solid fermentation requires to have storage warehouses to do this process. Another way we have researched is using fungi extracts or Aspergillus oryzea. It's a product called Anapherm. And research done by a student on Longitude. And they use these extract. He used this extract of the fungi in basal diets with DDGS, rice bran, and wheat bran, and observed that the digestibility of the fat in DDGS was higher when it was present, when he used the postbiotic. When he used that as Aspergillus oryzea. And part of that improvement is due to the fact that he observed an improvement in digestibility of the fiber. But also he observed changes in the microbial conformation composition also of the microbes and association of some microbes that are associated with an increase of digestibility of the fiber. So maybe to provide the metabolites or any products that are associated to these fungi, will lead to changes in fermentation in the gut of the pig and an improvement of digestibility of the nutrients. Another way that the fiber could cause a benefit could be benefits. Sometimes we see that the benefits, we want them improving the digestibility of nutrients. Maybe with the enzymes, the benefit seems to it's in the digestibility of nutrients. But there also the response of the immune system and the bacteria of metabolites on the gut. But potentially we can see an improvement in this the health of the gut. How about the specific pathogens? In this work that we did in the University of Minnesota a long time ago, we observed that when the pigs are fed with diets with DDGS, around 14% of fiber, and remember that the fiber in DDGS mainly is not soluble. Those pigs that were affected with intracellulitis had less amount of lesions in the gut. They had less lesions for this disease. Another work done in the University of Researcher in the Iowa University infected the animals with Brachyspira hamsoni and also they observed a reduction of the severity of the lesions in pigs when they are being fed with insoluble fiber with DDGS. Nevertheless, with another pathogens, a different one, the B. hydrocentrine, they saw an increase of the lesions. So sometimes we could think that very well fiber, insoluble fiber is a benefit for some types of pathogens, and for other pathogens, the insoluble fiber is not as good. Dr. Nick from the University of Iowa has used soluble fiber and infected animals with Brachyspira hydrodysentery and has observed a reduction of the severity of the lesions, in this case with soluble fiber and resistant starch. So depending on the pathogen, it seems that there's a benefit effect of the fiber. Beneficial effect, they're using the DDGS. We could consider that as a benefit value in some cases, but we have to be careful that in other cases they're not as beneficial. The benefit depends on the pathogen in which we are speaking about. So, since we have a panel later on, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of questions. I would like to give you some takeaway messages. The fiber is a key nutrient limitation utilization of DDGS. The complete degradation of fiber is possible. And sometimes we think, well, I want to have much more energy. I want to break that fiber. Maybe we don't have to break all the fiber, but free the fatty acids which energetic value are higher compared to the fatty acids due to fermentation. So we have to break that fiber enough to free the nutrients in order to obtain the energetic value. In the literature, we see that there are enzymes that liberate lipase, protease, and phytase. In our meta-analysis, it seems that proteases have a very interesting value. Nevertheless, there are few studies compared to the use of other types of enzymes. And some benefits are related to the gut health. And that is something we have to keep on researching in how to improve that gastrointestinal health, because the benefit in that gastrointestinal health could be higher, like the energy of the diet. Thank you very much.